Hello there, I hope that you're having an amazing day. Now, my name is Jade, and if you don't know, I have loads of different kinds of artsy things. I do diamond painting, scroller boxes, digital art, and I even have a Let's Try playlist which has things that I found at the works and B&Ms that I thought would be great to try out with you guys. So if you'd like to check that out, go on to my profile. But this is me doing a digital drawing. Um, because my art channel is about everything and anything of what I do, sorry, I'm kind of a chaotic artist that has no routine, where each day changes depending on how I'm feeling. So I'm going to try my best to schedule posts so you can watch my videos. Now this video is a little series I started. I wanted to try, and I got this idea from DeviantArt. I came across this on the screen somewhere, and it came from ArtChanXV, who also said it was inspired by, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but it's edog818180's top 10 memes. ArtChan said you can feel free to use it, double check just in case, so you can. So try this challenge out, it's pretty cool. And so I started out with Basil the Great Mouse Detective. So if you'd like to go over to that video, I will link it in this video, but also try and check out it at my profile. So we're gonna do the rescuers today, as you can see, and it brings back so many amazing memories of me just being with my sister glued to the TV on my mum and dad's bed. Eyes just don't. Anyway, I'm going to go back a little bit just in case I have some people that just don't know what a VHS is. VHS stands for a video home system. It's basically kind of like a DVD player and a DVD, but it's a different format of that. So I'm going to be doing the VHS covers of Disney films, or at least my top 10. So when I start drawing, I like to break down it into shapes to make sure that it's all in the right place. I also have I also think a really good tip is to try and trace over the reference image into big shapes. So then when you do it next to the reference image or a blank page, you understand where everything is. Also, do this on a different layer. I know this might sound, obvious, but just in case you want to see the reference image without the without the shapes on. And also you can unsee the shapes, unsee the reference image, so then you can see the shapes you've drawn on top of the reference image, so you know where everything is, or the shapes of the right size, they're all in the right place. So then as you get better, you can just slowly stop doing this step, but I just think it's pretty good to do, so make sure everything's all laid out. So when I've got all the shapes done and down, started adding on when I was finished adding the main attraction of the shapes, the bird, oval, I then moved on to the characters, and every now and again I'll unsee the actual image because it helps me understand the size of the shapes. Also, for each different character, I have a different shade of the colour I'm working with. So for this, it's drawing it in red. So it's different colours of red. So my lines aren't tangled. I know sorry, bell went, well, not bell, but the door went, so I'm thinking. Anyway, so I do this in different colours so they don't clash. And I also have 2 steps. So I have the shape, 2 steps to sketching. So the first is the shapes, which is in this one is in the color red, and then I have the refine stage, which is in the color blue. Normally I have the shapes all in different colors of red and the refine in the same color, but in this one I did it different, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's how I do my shape, and then I refine those. I like to cut out sections of the image I'm drawing to try and focus on specific characters to make sure that the real fine layer is perfect. I started off with Miss Bianca. If I remember correctly, I absolutely loved her as a kid, and even at a young age, I was shipping characters. Honestly, I thought Bernard and Miss Bianca were so cute together. I'm gonna have to rewatch it with my brothers and see if I think differently. I probably won't. But I also want to. I want my brothers to see it. Educate them on the classics. And see what they think. They like, dislike. Maybe one's just right for one, and maybe a little too young for another. But moving on to Bernard with a little light, just so cute. Now that the two main casts are done, I swiftly move on to the surroundings around them, the little tuna tin they're in, and then I move on to Penny. Penny is just so small in this drawing. Also, it's a little pixelated, but it's not as bad as Ratigan. So I don't need a new picture. I can still see the shapes and the colour as well. So I just keep drawing, Another little tip for digital drawing is to select a section of the drawing of the reference image next to your drawing. So, for example, Orville's head, the reference image, I place it next to where I'm drawing so I can see it clearly. I'm not missing any details because Orville is so big in this image. It's you can place, you can separate him, so you can put the reference image where you need it. Right wing, left wing, tail. And a little fact about the voice actor. He's called Jim Jordan for Orville, and he unfortunately died before making the second Rescuers, which is called Rescuers Down Under. Another good film in my opinion. So the filmmakers created Wilbur, who is Orville's brother, who was voiced by Jim Candy. Just a little fact that I didn't know and thought you might want to know. I swiftly moved on to Madame Medusa. Riding that car boat thing, which as a kid I thought was so cool. Just wow. And I wanted to just make sure that I remembered the lights, so I marked them out. Drawing the boats was a little tricky, but I got there in the end. Also added her little pet crocodile next to her. So I'm gonna share a few facts before we move on to colouring. So fact number 1, the Medusa reference. So Madame Medusa, Madame I can't even say it, is one of Disney's most underrated and savage villains. She is as nasty and two-faced as the other villains of that era, such as Cruella de Vil and Edgar the Butler from the Aristocats. I watched that over the summer with my brothers. That was cool. She even inspired Ursula the Sea Witch from Little Mermaid. So greed always seems to be the downfall for the Disney villains, dying in the Renaissance era of Disney, and Madame Medusa's was being gemstones. This is also a Medusa reference. There is also a reference to Medusa. I can't say her name, I'm sorry. So when she ever makes eye contact with Penny, Penny freezes. So that's a little connection to the Greek mythology. Medusa's power to turn who look at her to stone. Now, number 2, the legend of Geraldine Page. So she was the voice actor for Medusa, and she was well known. She was amazing. So it was said by Mick Cal, I think that's his name, the animator that drew Medusa. Page only needed 1 take for each of her lines and nailed them every time on the first try. Like, wow. A little link to Mick Cal. And it gave me shivers when I first watched this. So from the early days of Disney, there was a group of animators that made all the magic happen. The same animators that created Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Most of them were going either into retirement or producing, or sadly had passed away. So the Rescuers was kind of like their final hurrah, and it was like all the gang came together and they were known as the Nine Old Men. Mikhail was the last of the group to stay on the animation team, and this was the last movie to carry his little signature style. He drew Madame Medusa almost completely by himself because none of his assistants had the same level of talent. Wow. Another one, the departure of Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. This was the last Disney film that them two did working together. Don and Gary were together. The two names might be similar. So Bluth, Bluth asked why the whites of the characters' eyes weren't being coloured in. Someone replied saying it was just too expensive. So he and fellow animator Goldman used their own equipment and proved otherwise. And the studio didn't take too kindly to that. So they said bye. The result was Bluth and Goldman leaving to create their own animation company, and they are known for films such as All Dogs Go to Heaven, Thumbelina, Anastasia, and The Land Before Time. Fact number 5: Miss Bianca, a mouse and a cat lover. So Miss Bianca isn't like other mice. Her character is already in direct contrast to the nervous and unsure Bernard, and she was one of Disney's earliest attempts at an assertive female lead. One thing that makes her stand out from the other mice is that she has no fear for cats. She kind of likes them and is even sympathetic to them. The bravery is useful for this adventure as it allows Bianca to converse with the local felines. If not for the skill, the mice might never have spoken to Rufus the cat, who was close to Penny and wanted to help the rescuers find her. And last but not least, number 6, this was the first animated film to have a sequel. As I mentioned earlier, so underrated. And although it didn't get much attention, it was released during the Disney's Renaissance. So when it had begun with Little Mermaid in 1989, and then The Rescues Down Under was released only a year later and had the same adventure, drama, and compelling characters as the original movie in 1977. Now that that's done, I'm going to move on to what I've been doing while saying the facts. So when I did the title, when I started this series, I thought it would be easy-ish to do the title, but it looks harder than it actually is. So I was spending so much time on the actual doing the font that I thought it would just be best to trace it. This is the only thing I trace. But a little Easter egg or a little thing I should have incorporated earlier on was replacing masterpiece with my name. I used those boxes to make sure the letters were all on the right size. But this was one of the later drawings I decided to do. If you watched my previous video, I did explain that I didn't have any order to this series that I drew. I drew what I wanted to draw at that given time and that given day. I learned from the past drawings and thought it would be best to start with the background before moving on to colouring the characters. So if some of these look a bit, if the drawing quality goes down a little or a lot, it's because I drew them first and drew the better ones last. No reason for that. I just wanted to. So moving on, because this was one of the ones, I moved on to the background, and I wanted the background to be quite simple. I was messy and a little expressive. This allowed me to get the background done and move on to the line art and colouring the main characters as quick as possible. I skipped. I did record it, but for some reason it just skipped. But yeah. So then when I move on to the main characters. So when I also like to go back to a little bit. When I did the line art, there was this tool. I don't know what it's called, but I'll circle it now. But it helps for you to draw a nice crisp line. It was so smooth. It helped me so much because especially when you had shaky hands. So when I had the line art done, I have and when I do eyeliner, I have multiple of layers, so I can draw clean lines and erase the places that need not be there. I don't know if this is helpful to you, but I just find it easier to get my line art completed and looking nice. Also, every now and again, my tablet will think that my hand or finger is drawing, but really I'm just trying to zoom in the picture and it draws lines here and there. So every now and again, if a line appears on the screen, it's because of that. So I have to draw them out, rub them out, and moving on to colour. I make sure that I have the reference image next to my drawings so I can colour match each character right. I coloured the image, but I personally think I coloured this image better than the last video. Comment below if you think the same, but I'm pretty sure I do. And I like colouring and erasing the sections. As you can see, I find it kind of therapeutic to me. That's how you say it, don't you? But I find it therapeutic. So I like doing that sort of stuff. So this is me doing that. Also, it's a way for me to procrastinate. But a tip to colour is to use the reference image to make sure that you have the right colours as a base. So to do this, I choose the colour that I think is best that matches that. And then you can make a little mark on the section of the reference image color-ish, and then you can check to see if it's right, if you're right, or you can make some adjustments to that color. You know, if it's darker or lighter, needs a bit of great tinge of red or green. So but I'm not saying don't use the color pluck, because it is useful, but I'm saying in that way you don't really learn how the right colours and stuff, like, you know, colour theory-ish, if you do that all the time. So I do use a colour book, but just not always. I think it's a lot better to do this way, just so I'm able to learn. Personally, I'd like to learn the colours a lot better. So when colouring, I do choose the middle colour, so I'm able to add shadows and highlights. And to be honest, like I said, I procrastinate a lot during this. So when I do get to the shading, it's the exact same. I kind of shade it gradually and add colour, and then I rub out where I don't want the shading to be. And to do the shading, I do use the spray tool, so I can add a nice clean shade so that any of the places that I want it to be a little darker, and then I can darken that up gradually by letting the colour darken itself. And each character has their own folder for this reason, so I'm able to adjust each character separately, because just one character has so many layers. Just in terms of shading alone, it's just the best option to have a folder for Miss Bianca, a folder for Madame Udessa, a folder for Penny, a folder for other people's names that I can't pronounce. So it's just the best option. I personally, if you see this, I personally don't think that I have the right skin tones for both Penny and Madame Medusa. I even tried to do the colour match. I think even at that point, I was like, I'm going to colour pluck this. This is so confusing. Like, why do they look so tanned? And that's what I mean. Like, they just didn't look right. So I tried, and I'm trying to learn still, but I digressed. Personally, I'm not gonna lie, I really am happy with the boat. You know, the glass, when we get there, the glass looks quite nice, and the lights especially, they look actually like lights. I'm so happy. Just wow. So yes. Right, so because I have nothing else to say, I'm going to throw in some more quick, amazing facts about this film. So, number one, this was the 23rd Disney animated feature. Just the 23rd. Number two, stock footage of Bambi and his mother grazing can be seen during the song Someone's Waiting for You. Also, some of the birds from Bambi make an appearance in this film. Uh, Number three, this The Rescuers was the first major success since Jungle Book and would have been the last until Little Mermaid came along. Number four, Madame Mediasa's fiery red dress and Penny's light blue jumper was used so they could have a good contrast between good and evil. No, sorry. Yeah, between good and the innocents against evil. Number five, Nancy Adams recorded a demo for Sammy Fane's Someone's Waiting for You, which was not actually used in the final film, and that recording has since been lost. The Rescuers was released in 1977. Wow, that was long. Wow. Along with The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I absolutely loved Winnie the Pooh as a kid. I have the Winnie the Pooh. It's so adorable. I can't believe it was that long ago. It doesn't feel that long ago. It was. It's older than me. This is the first Disney film to feature pop music instead of orchestral music. Wow. And since then, the music for Disney have been getting better and better. I know every Disney song out there that every Disney song and all the ones that are like, do you know these 20 songs? I know what every one of them word for word. I even have a Disney song playlist on my phone, and me and my brothers like to play a little game where we will go through the playlist and we won't see the song, but we'll listen to it, and the first one to shout out the song or where it's from, what film it's from, or the actual song itself, and they get to win a point. And that was made by me. So yeah, if you want to try that out, just go get Disney songs on your phone. Let's give it a whirl. I absolutely love it. I even have it for an anime playlist. The boys don't listen to that one because they don't really watch anime that much, but I do. So, but this is Disney. If you want to see any more of my my drawings, my anime ones and stuff like that, go over to my Instagram. All my links are in the description below. So yeah. Now that we've finished, I save it, and as I've said before, I learn from my mistakes. I don't save it as the pixels of a VHS tape because in the end it's too pixelated. It just doesn't look good. So when I do save, when I add it to the template, it just is just bleh. So I do save it as the size of a VHS. This way it's not ruining the image in the end and the pixels are all great. So now that this is finished, I hope that you like this. I hope that you like this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and please check out more. Bye!